Man, healing from a breakup is tough. Oh my gosh, it's really tough. I went through one of the most difficult breakups of my life about 4 years ago now. And to be honest, the breakup lasted 3 years, so it was a long process, and sometimes it is. But I guess the good thing about it is through that process, I learned a lot about myself. Uh, I learned a lot about the capacity and the strength that I have and the ability that I have to be able to be resilient and to continue to move forward despite difficult circumstances. And also, I learned that certain aspects of breaking up are fun, to be honest. And I know it doesn't feel that way all the time. But when I look back and I see who I am now compared to who I was then, I'd go through it again to become the person that I am, because I have become a better version of myself, and I know that you will too. If you're going through a breakup and maybe you're going through the challenges that are involved in it, and it's frustrating and it's difficult and it's challenging, but what I can tell you is that you will get through it. um, and I know that I can say that for certain, because anyone who knows me knows the, the level of my breakup. All I can tell you is that you will get through it. And I want to share with you some of the ways in which you can heal through breaking up, regardless of whether your breakup is with like a person, a relationship, a job, a country, a friendship, whatever it is. It's difficult, and it's a process, and it takes time. Um, but yeah, you will get through it. And so here are a few ways that I have found, because they're fresh in my heart and fresh in my mind right now, right? And so I want to share them with you, which is number one: give yourself time to grieve. Um, Acknowledge that it's difficult, even if it's maybe a relationship or a situationship that you didn't want to be involved in. The truth is that you're going to have feelings, you're going to have emotions, and you're going to need time to grieve. And it's okay to give yourself permission to grieve and to go through that. And also to be patient with yourself through the process. Um, One thing that I've learned over time is that healing does not have a set timeline. And I've learned to understand that it's okay to take the time that you need to process your loss, whatever it is. And it's okay to take the time that you need to heal. And that at times the healing process will come in waves. That sometimes you think that it's completely over and you're better, and then another wave of the pain or the discomfort or the emotion will come unexpectedly, triggered by things that you don't understand. And it's just there. And I've learned personally to embrace it rather than to push it, push it further down, right? That allowing it to flow and allowing it to be released and allowing myself to experience that is just a part of the process. And honestly, I'm learning to appreciate that, like, because over time in this life, we begin to realize that we don't have forever. We're not here forever. But the truth is, anytime that you love something or you love someone, that's a level of vulnerability. And that vulnerability does make you at risk for loss. That's just a part of the process. There's really nothing in this life that we can hold on to forever. We were born alone and we're going to die alone. And that's just the way of life, right? That's the life cycle. And I think that in realizing that and accepting that and coming to terms with that, I recognize that it requires a certain level of acceptance that difficult feelings are just a part of the process of this life. And to be honest, at times it's a gift and an opportunity and a privilege to be experiencing those feelings. You know, what is that quote? What do they say? It's better to have loved and to have lost than to never have loved at all. Have you heard that quote? I agree with that. And so I've learned to appreciate the feelings, the ups and downs, and to be grateful that I can have them, right? So yeah, give yourself time to grieve. The next tip that I have for you, if you are going through a breakup, is to definitely lean into your support system. Your friends, your family, your church, whatever it is, wherever you feel support, surround yourself with people who can lift up your spirits and remind you of the value that you bring to them and to the lives of others. Sometimes it's good to talk about it and to just have someone, a mentor, if you have one, who can kind of just remind you, right? Remind you of who you are and who you were before that connection or that relationship, and that you will continue to be that person afterwards. Because I think sometimes we can forget. We can sometimes forget how much value we have, because sometimes we wrap our value into other people. And so, yeah. The third thing that I have is to reconnect with yourself. And this is the one that I find fun with a breakup, right? Like, there are challenges with breakups. There's ups and downs. The up for me of a breakup is the opportunity to reconnect with myself, because one thing I'm gonna do after a breakup is I'm gonna laser focus in on me. I am gonna reconnect with myself. I'm gonna explore what I desire, where I want to go. I'm gonna just begin to reinvent myself, because to me that's just a part of the process for me of breaking up. I would say that's the good part for me of a breakup, is that I get to enter into a season where I get to become a new version of myself, a better version of myself, a more informed version of myself. And I'm able to look back actually at the prior version of myself with pride, right? Like, not everything in every situation is going to be perfect, but I can be grateful that whatever decision that I made to get to this place, that I'm wiser, right? That I've learned something, and I walk away with something anew that I can apply to the future version, right, of myself. And I just really appreciate that about a breakup, because it does give me a renewed energy and passion for myself, to reconnect with myself, to re-engage in hobbies and activities that I enjoy, or to try something new, to rediscover my individuality. Who am I without this person or this connection or this relationship? Or to begin to reimagine who can I be, right, outside of this. Because one thing that happens when we're in a relationship or we're in a strong connection is we begin to, whether consciously or subconsciously, we start to change ourselves and our lives, and we begin to accommodate the other person or the situation, even if it's work, right? You build your life around work, knowing that you have to get up every day at 7 a.m. and work, from 8 to 5 or whatever the case is. And so much of your life and your energy and your thoughts and your emotions are caught up in that until you don't know who you are without that, right? And so for me, that's the beauty of a breakup, is because now you have the space and the opportunity to reimagine who you are. Like, it doesn't have to be the negative imaginations. Allow yourself to imagine in a positive way who it is that you are without that. Who can you be? I mean, what can you do with all that time? What types of things can you do and explore and try that you haven't had the opportunity or the time to do because you've been spending all your time engaged in that thing or that activity? So I love that part about it. I mean, like, you can probably tell that's the part of it that gets me excited, because I know that I get the opportunity to grow I get the opportunity to change. And that even when I look back in the past, and I kind of think of things that I've had to walk away from, situations, and I'm not talking about necessarily intimate relationships, okay? I'm not talking about boyfriends, jobs, whatever the case was. I see, when I look back at the pattern, I always see that I become a better version of myself. And why wouldn't I want that? Like, I think it's beautiful when I look back and I can just see all my life almost like chapters, and that when that chapter closes, another one opens, and the level of growth and the level of beauty that is unveiled with each new chapter is just something to behold, and I really absolutely love it. And certainly I look forward to that in the future. The other thing that I have is practicing self-care. Because one thing that we gonna do with a breakup is we gonna begin to center ourselves, right? And that's the thing that I love, right? Where we can begin to take care of our body and our health, our mind, exercise, eat good food, get all the sleep we want without being interrupted, take time to relax, and just indulge in yourself. Refreshing. The other thing that I love is the positive side, I guess, about a breakup, is that you get to reaffirm your values and your goals. Because naturally, when you're involved in a situation or relationship, you begin to align your goals typically with the goals of someone else. And so when you're free of that, you now get to realign your goals with the things that you desire. You get to spend time thinking about what it is that you want for yourself that is not intertwined or entangled with the wants and the needs of someone else that you're no longer having to accommodate. And I just think that's a beautiful opportunity, right? Two of the most important values in my life are freedom and health. And one thing about a breakup is it allows me the space and the time to indulge in those two things. Freedom and health, yes. The other thing that I would say is reflect on the relationship. And I've alluded to this several times thus far, but reflecting on the relationship, because I believe that every relationship, every connection, every interaction, every engagement that we have in this life is there to teach us something. And I like to ask myself, what is it that I'm supposed to learn from this? What is it that I'm going to gain from this? How is it that I am going to grow from this situation? What did I discover? Not only about maybe that person, but more importantly about myself. Because above all, what's most important is to know thyself, right? Know thyself. And so for me, a breakup is an opportunity for me to reflect on that relationship, to be honest with myself, right? To actually sit down now that I'm no longer in that, because I think being out of a situation gives you clarity, and you're able to see maybe the patterns that you had, things that you did, maybe the things that you maybe weren't proud of, or just things that came up that you maybe were surprised about. At least for me, I like to reflect on those things, and it allows me another opportunity to grow into the person that I see myself in becoming in the future, right? Allows me an opportunity to implement new practices and new strategies for becoming the best version of myself, the person that I know that I am going to be, and the person that I know that I'm on my way to being, right? That I am walking through this situation and out of this relationship because I'm on a path to get to a certain destination, and this is where I need to be going. And another thing that I would say is practicing mindfulness and gratitude is always helpful. You can try journaling, writing down about your thoughts, your emotions, helps to release pain. It helps to gain insight, and just helps you to focus on, what it is that is most important, right? What's most important. And what you begin to realize is, despite everything, you have what's most important because you have yourself, right? That even if you can't rely on other people or situations, you can rely on yourself. You want to feel that you can rely on yourself. So getting clear on your controllables, what it is that you can control and what it is that you can't control. And journaling really helps with that. And I really love to journal with Kathy Hampton, and she's here on YouTube. I will link her channel below, because one of the things that I do, especially if I am feeling a sense of needing to kind of reconnect with myself, Kathy journals on her channel twice a week, on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think it's at 6:30 Central Standard Time. And I love to go there and just practice journaling exercises with the ladies there, beautiful women there. And Kathy typically will present us with some like affirmations or just some different questions to reflect on, just to help us focus. And she does like healing and wellness practices. So I'll just link her channel below. But that's what I like to do, even if you're not a journaler. I consider myself kind of like, when I look back on my life, I've always journaled, but I've never been someone who's journaled every single day. It's not something I do consistently, but I'll do it consistently enough that I have journals that go back like 10 years, and I can kind of see my growth. And that's been a beautiful thing. I have my journals from like 5 years ago. And even if I journal once a month, even if you journal just once a month, you'll begin to see the patterns of what you were thinking and where you were at in that season of your life, and what maybe limiting beliefs that you had that you have overcome. And it begins to really convince you that you have the capacity to be better and to be greater, because you actually see it when you see your journals. You see yourself becoming that better version of yourself, and you see the evidence of that in your own handwriting, and there's nothing to me more beautiful than that. And then the last thing that I'll share with you that I think is really good for helping to heal through a breakup is taking the time to visualize your future self. Remembering, like, I think it's really important for me to remember that whatever ideas or dreams that I had within that relationship, let's say, for example, it was a work relationship that I'm breaking up from. And oftentimes the reason why it's so difficult is because I have dreamed and imagined my future self being there, right? I've seen myself becoming CEO, and I've seen myself being on projects, and I've seen myself 5 years from now doing this and being promoted and going through the ranks and doing all these things. And I think that's why breaking up, is difficult, because we've allowed our minds to visualize our future self within the confines of whatever that was. But I think it's important to remember that just the same way you were able to imagine yourself in that situation, that you can imagine yourself in a different situation, that it's all within your mind and within your ability, and you're capable of doing that. So begin to dream new dreams. That's the beautiful thing about a breakup. So begin to do that. Try to find ways to begin dreaming new dreams. Set new goals. Make a fresh start. Start envisioning a future that creates for you hope and excitement, and begin to affirm whatever your strengths are, and remind yourself that you are resilient, that you are capable, that you are strong, that you have qualities that are unique and strong and desirable, and that you are in a better place because of that disconnection, because it is that disconnection that is pushing you into your future. Focus on your growth and think about how this is opening a door for you to become the person that you are aspiring to be. That even if you didn't see it coming, that now you're being pushed or catapulted even further towards your goal. And so that's how I like to see it. As someone who has had a tendency to want to hang on to things in the past, I have learned in my own life that for me, a breakup is God's way of moving me to that next step, because he knows that sometimes I don't want to take that next step, and he's helping me out, and he's pushing me forward and not allowing me to stay in the place where I'm going to get too comfortable and not pursue my dreams. And I think that that's what he wants for you as well. To go ahead, to go forward with confidence and to pursue your dreams. And so that is what I have for you today. And I hope that you are doing well, and I hope that you have a good day. Bye.